followers. Today I am interviewing Scott Gaylord, a former road course driver that lives in Colorado, my home state. Before I begin, I want to say thanks to the Lord above for letting me do these motor racing interviews. I really enjoy doing them, and I will keep doing them in the future as long as the man above is still willing. I love it. Thank you, Lord. Alrighty, I think I'm ready now.
Okie dokie.
Alrighty, so yeah, it means a lot to be chatting with you because you're one of my favorite road course racers.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, you have an interesting last name, I'll say.
Yeah. Yeah, that was fun in school.
Yeah, I was going to kind of ask about that. Did people, yeah.
In school, I had, issues, of course, and you get used to it and handle it. Probably made you tougher, but in the racing industry, no, it put me kind of unique. I had actually, ironically, there was another Gaylord in one of the West Series races when I first started, which is, real rare, but that's the only time that really ever happened. But nobody ever had to give me really issues at all. Once we're adults, people don't really don't really care.
Yeah. Yeah, it's pretty cool. So yeah, I have a list of questions about your career, and hopefully you have the answer for them.
All right, we'll try.
Alrighty, where are you originally from?
Golden, Colorado.
Nice. I'm from Estes Park.
Oh, okay, cool.
Ever been there?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's one of my favorite places. Although,
oh, yeah, the hotel's there, and you get to drive right on over to Colorado National Park, all that stuff. So.
Yeah, I went to the park a lot during summers.
I bet. I would, too.
Yeah. What made you get into motor racing?
Partially, my dad was a amateur road course racer for 50 years, and Les Gaylord, and so I was always hanging around with him, and then, of course, I wanted to race when it was my time. And back then, you couldn't really race till you were 18. If you were in Sports Car Club of America, they were kind of restrictive.
Oh.
So I couldn't start that young, but I started in a Formula V, and a little Formula car with a Volkswagen motor, and did okay. And then showroom stock showed up, which is basically you can go get a car, put a roll cage in it, and go racing, which made it wonderful because it was pretty even racing, and you could drive your car there and back from the race. So I was sleeping and racing in my car there for a while, and then I ended up winning a national amateur championship at the runoffs in the Honda CRX, and then at that point Honda was starting an endurance series for the SCCA endurance road course racing program, and they picked me up after I won that race to go race for them. So I ended up racing for Honda for 3 or 4 years in endurance 24-hour, 12-hour races, all over the country. And they were, we won 3 national championships, co-driving with Peter Cunningham, Lance Stewart, and Donna Landon, who ended up being my wife, Donna Gaylord.
Pretty cool. That's awesome. And that's really cool. Who is your biggest racing hero?
My dad.
Mm.
And then if you want to pick, besides my dad, somebody out there, I'd probably say Jimmy Means.
Ooh, yeah. I remember reading an interview from Dale Earnhardt Jr. because his hero was Jimmy Means as well.
Yeah, Jimmy's still out there doing it, man. He's there for life. He's good. He's helped. I would have to say, Dale Jarrett went through him. I drove for him. You can pretty much name nearly anybody, and they've somehow been associated with Jimmy Means in some way through their career.
Yeah,
in NASCAR. Yeah.
That's really cool. And I saw the Whataburger 52 car when I went to the Xfinity race last year. It was really cool.
Yeah, that is great.
It was so orange, though, that it was kind of hard to look at.
Yeah, I know. But you saw it.
Yep, and it was pretty cool.
Tend not to run well when I start on the front row. He's going to try to change that statistic here today. He'll start on the outside of the front row.
So, what was driving for Jeff Burney like?
Wonderful. He's a great owner. He'd show up at maybe 2 or 3 races a year, and then mostly, watch him on TV, and I'd call him after the races, and we'd go over it all. And he supported our program very well. At least 10 or more years we were working together pretty heavy in the West Series, maybe even more like 15 years. And I haven't talked to him recently, but stayed in contact for a while there. And he's just a really all-out racer. He raced himself and was a good racer himself. And then he kind of started pulling out of the driving himself and wanted to get into the endurance series that I was racing for Honda. So he started a Corvette team, and we were leading at Mosport against all the top guys. And the co-driver got into the car, and it ended up seizing the rear end and rolling. But after that, he decided to turn to NASCAR, and then he picked me as the driver, and we had a 15-year career that was wonderful. I just had a wonderful career doing the West Series race.
That's pretty cool. And did you meet any famous race drivers before becoming one?
No, not that I can think of. Once I did start racing, most of the people I met were in NASCAR that were pretty famous. And then when we went to Japan, we were all the top guys were there, and we got to start to get to know each other a little bit better. Dale Earnhardt, and even Junior was at one other two of those races.
Pretty cool. What's the significance of the number 20W?
20W. Don't know. What is it?
According to Racing Reference, that was your number at Riverside in the 80s in NASCAR.
Plate war. Tragically, Weatherly died instantly in the crash. On the restart, Petty once again takes the lead with Gurney's second and McDonald third. Transmission failure puts Petty out on lap 101. A.J. Foyt tries to get by Marvin Panch. Foyt crashes in turn 1 and is out on lap 151. Gurney looks unbeatable. Panch is holding steady in second. Gurney brings his Wood Brothers Ford under the checkered flag. Marvin Panch finishes second, and Roberts gives Ford a clean sweep in third. Gurney wins 2 Riverside 500s in a row.
Is that true?
I don't even remember that. That could be, yeah. So I was the last one to ever qualify for a cup race at Riverside.
Oh, yeah, because it shut down.
The last one to attempt to qualify. The motor blew during the qualifying lap, so I didn't make it. But I was the last one ever to attempt to qualify for a cup race at Riverside. And then after that race, it was shut down.
What was driving at the track like?
Oh, loved it. I've driven there before that too, in other venues. But one of the better tracks in the country, road course tracks. There's that. I think there's Road America. Has a longer, more intense tracks. There's Riverside, Road America, Sears Point, Laguna Seca. There's up here we had CDR, Continental Divide Raceway, which was the best high altitude racetrack ever, but that shut down about 15 years ago. So I've really raced a lot of these tracks that aren't even open anymore, that were probably the best around in the country at one time or another.
Yeah, and Tommy Kendall told me in our chat last year that Dan Gurney, when it came to Riverside, it was very unfair because everybody was saying, we know who's winning this one.
Yeah, pretty much. Gurney had that. Gurney could pretty much win anywhere, but Riverside was, he'd driven there a lot. He knew the track. He was one of the best drivers in the country. What are you going to do? Unless the car breaks, you should win.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
So, yeah, do you consider yourself a better road driver or an oval track driver?
I would say, well, stat-wise, definitely I was a better road course driver, but I developed, I felt, into pretty equal. I could go to either track by the end of my career and be as competitive either way.
Ah, that's pretty cool, man. And how did you start your relationship with Jimmy Means?
I basically called him and started talking to him about what's going on, and he said, well, come on out and we'll put you in, test you out. Finally, I talked him into just testing me out, and he put me in a car at Daytona. It was the first track I ever got to do a test with him on. And it went okay. We were one of the slowest cars, but I was as quick as he was in the car. And then he tried me out. Where did we go to the first race? I'm trying to think. Our first race was a road course or oval, but I'm not sure what it was. But we ended up going to some race, and I did all right. So he started calling me here and there, and then we ended up doing at least a couple of road course races, Mexico, Canada, and then the Glen and Sears Point all together, and made a couple of those races. And really wonderful guy, and gave me a lot of opportunity, and had a lot of fun with him.
Yeah, and I kind of feel a little bit bad for Jimmy Means because I think that, he could achieve a lot more if he has the right opportunity with his team, if sponsors gave him a chance, And, he also was involved in that accident with J.D. McDuffie, and that had to be traumatizing.
Between the first and second corners, up to 119, now up to 120. The RPMs there at 7,300, fluctuating between 71 and 7,800. The throttle responses, Dale has it all the way to the floor now on the backstretch. He is in fourth gear. Some great information coming from the Ford telemetry, and now he begins to apply the brakes as he sets the car into turn number 5. It gets way off the throttle, shifts to third, speed reducing to about 88 miles an hour, all the way down to 86 before he comes out of the corner and begins to stand on the throttle once again and accelerate up to 120, 135. Look at the speed increase. Out of turn number 5, headed for turn number 6. Speed increasing once again, second gear.
And here's trouble, big trouble here in turn 5.
Oh, a car is upside down.
Bob, there are two cars. They came in here so fast, and one of them did hit the other one and did get upside down. Both of them hit very, very hard.
I believe that's J.D. McDuffie who is on his roof.
And one of the drivers is coming out of the car right now.
That's Jimmy Means. And now he's going to see if he can assist J.D. McDuffie in getting out of his car. McDuffie's car is on its roof, and Jimmy Means is calling for assistance. This is turn number 5, the one that has created so many problems here at Watkins Glen, not only in Winston Cup racing, but also in GTP competition. There's McDuffie.
There's a wheel. Where in the world did that wheel come from as J.D. plows in the wall, and evidently he has, and Jimmy Means goes into the wall while Means is in the air.
Jerry Punch now with Chip Williams from NASCAR.
Well, with further information on the status of J.D. McDuffie, here is Chip Williams, the Director of Public Relations for NASCAR. And Chip, what's the information?
Jerry and Bill, I regret to inform you that J.D. McDuffie has passed away. He was 53 years old. Of course, our hearts right now was with wife Imogene and his children, Jeff and Linda, and it's really a pretty sad day right now.
A terrible tragedy here at Watkins Glen. And of course, Chip, in the interest of safety, whenever there is a tragedy like that, you're always trying to find out possibly the cause of death to try to prevent this from happening in the future. Is there any information now as to what may have happened?
Well, right now, we don't know about the cause of death because of the autopsy is scheduled for in the morning. As far as what happened to the race car, it looks like a possibility of a wheel breaking loose. We're going to look into that. We're going to look at the race car and see what we can find out from there. Of course, we're not going to be able to do that until after the race.
A terrible tragedy here at Watkins Glen. And Chip Williams, thanks for coming out from NASCAR Control and giving us information. That was not what we wanted to hear, but unfortunately, that occurs in the sport of motorsports. Bob?
It is always difficult to report the death of any race driver. They know the dangers and the hazards, and they choose to race because they love it so very much. J.D. McDuffie was in his 653rd Winston Cup race. He had never won a Winston Cup event. But just last night, ironically enough, at Owego, New York at Shangri-La Speedway, J.D. McDuffie was involved in a celebrity race. And J.D. McDuffie, driving the 07 car, believe it or not, took the checkered flag first and won that race just down the road from Watkins Glen International, where his career ended today. J.D. got out of the car with his son Jeff watching and received the applause and the congratulations of all of those in the grandstand. J.D. McDuffie leaves his wife Jean and 2 children, Jeff and Linda. And our sincere condolences to all of the McDuffie family from all of us here at ESPN.
Gene, I know exactly what you're going through, sweetheart. And you fans out there, you wonder how these guys can get in these cars and go back out and restart this race. Hey, it's their job. It's what they do. There's 100,000 people here this afternoon to watch them do that job. There's not a one of these drivers that wants to be in that race car right now. They want to be in the garage area, hugging their wife, their girlfriend, their mom, their crew members, whoever. I don't want to be here now. I want to be over there looking at Ned and looking at Bob and just not saying anything. But we've got a job to do, and that's to report to you who wins, who loses, and what happens during the day. Gene, we all love you, and we're sorry.
Oh, of course it was, and he doesn't even want to talk about it. That's like a war wound, nearly, you know. But you know, you got to look at also Jimmy Means is still doing it, and a lot of people aren't. So,
Yep.
rich or poor, if you love what you're doing, you're ahead of the game.
Yeah, and I admire his team that it's lasted. It's pretty cool. That shows that anyone can do it, you know?
Well, I don't know about anybody, but he can.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, it does give the opportunity to other people to say you can do it, but it isn't that easy. Jimmy, and even he's pretty much it. I mean, there's Davis out there. He's got a team that does the same thing, but they got a little bit more backing and support through some of the drivers. But Jimmy, you know, has done it on nothing for 30 years.
Yeah, and if I had to pick a Cup Series team that's probably on par with that one as far as how they can achieve things with little, I would have to say it's the Spire team that won Daytona last year in July.
Yes, that was cool, wasn't it?
It was, and I remember when that race happened, when Haley took the lead, I was like, if my guys couldn't win, I'd definitely pull for these guys.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
You always do that. Yeah. You got your main guy, and then you got, wait a minute, I want Jimmy to win, or I want those guys to win for sure. I get it.
Yeah, and not only that, but I kind of think they did the right thing in stopping the race because the rain is very dangerous to race in. You know what I mean?
They got to figure something out there, though. They need to have like an IROC rain car with enough, 30 of them sitting there. So if they have a rain out, they need to put all these good drivers in a rain car and go out at it because it's killing ratings, these rain races.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. So, yeah, what is driving at Watkins Glen like?
Oh, wonderful. I've driven there in a number of endurance races and also in the Cup race and in the Xfinity races. And I love the track very much, both configurations, the full course and the stock car course. I raced even there in the snow a couple times in an endurance race.
I didn't know it snowed there. I knew it rained.
Yeah, I did when we were early spring or something, and they had just one of those freak things, and it wasn't sticking. So it was like a really, like not a slush, but borderline. But you got snow coming down, and you couldn't see very well. It's like, what the heck is snowing, man?
Yeah. So, yeah, what was it like making your first Busch Series start in '97?
Oh, very exciting. You know, thankful to Jimmy for the opportunity and wanted to show everybody what I could do. And, you know, we had a okay little start and things were going okay, and then things, you know, change or something breaks or something driver makes a mistake. But I was, you know, and to me that was at that point my ultimate achievement.
That's really cool. Glad to hear that. And was it a Jimmy Means car, or was it another car?
I'm pretty sure it was Jimmy Means. I don't remember driving anybody. I did drive one other guy's car one time at Phoenix, and that was about it. And that was not even close. It was horrible. Car would go 3 laps and wore a tire out.
Yeah, I know what that's like. What is racing in Circuit Gilles Villeneuve like?
There it is. Couldn't see that coming, could you? Oh, that's...
He might just have to drive off the island because NASCAR might be just a little mad at him.
All right, so the lead is changing hands here now. Kevin Harvick has just gone out in front. A confusing situation of this race. Robbie Gordon may now be first in line on the racetrack, but the lead belongs to Kevin Harvick. Now, here comes the driver from Quebec, Patrick Carpentier, trying to see if he can catch Harvick and pass him for what would be the win.
These fans are going nuts here. And remember earlier that the 22 got spun out. Harvick, he's up on the wheel. He's got the wheels. Uh-oh, he's off the track.
Here comes Carpentier, looking for a way around. Harvick gonna block, and they're stacking up behind him.
We didn't see, but Andy Program got into, uh-oh. There we go, this is awesome.
Max Pappas in the one right there. Harvick trying to block, Carpentier looking inside. 1, 2, and 3.
One more corner to get it.
They'll come to the end of this long, high-speed straightaway, jam on the brakes, have a quick right, a quick left, and onto the final straightaway where the checkered flag will be waving. Kevin Harvick started at the back of this field. Is he going to be able to hang on and get the win? Carpentier trying to find a way around, but Kevin Harvick is going to go from worst to first, and Kevin Harvick's name will go on the winner's trophy in the inaugural NASCAR Busch Series race at Montreal.
That's just awesome for that race team, boy. Like I said, uh-oh, look out. So much to tell these guys. The race is over. Look, there's still guys spinning down there.
Dane Wilson going to victory lane, guys.
Didn't I say those guys are going to be up front at the end of the race?
Yeah, you did. I don't think anybody could have predicted how it would unfold, though. What a bizarre finish. Max Pappas congratulating Kevin Harvick. Harvick, the winner, will come back and review this wildness we've seen in the last few laps in a minute.
Montreal.
Probably one of those technical tracks I ever raced. I can pick up on a track usually within a lap and a half. That's where my big advantage was in Mexico. They only had us qualify. We only had 1 lap to qualify. And in the first race, everybody was still getting used to the track, and I could click on tracks really quick. So I was able to, basically we were on the pole for a while. And once people started to develop their cars, the second time we came, we weren't even as, we still made the race, but we were way back in the field because they were able to make the cars better, and you had 5 laps to try to get your best lap. So that's where I clicked. So, but Villeneuve, I have to say, took me 3 to 4 laps before I could get it figured out. It was the most difficult one I've ever had to get used to.
Yeah, it resembles more of a street course than a normal road course.
Totally agree.
Like.
Yeah, wonderful though. Once I got used to it. In fact, the rain race that they stopped because Joey Logano and everybody was crashing in, we would have probably had a top 10, but they decided to stop it. I'm like, why? We're not crashing just because everybody else is. Why are we stopping this race? But they stopped it, and we were still in the back.
This is the one thing Ron Fellows doesn't want to hear. Full course caution has come out because of heavy rain. The drivers simply cannot see right now. Fellows loses a 43-second lead.
That's amazing. And when you know Ambrose is sitting there just licking his chops, he's like, okay, I want to race this guy. Let's go.
So our fourth caution of the day for the heavy rain, and Fellows would have probably had to stop again, but if he could have maintained that 45-second lead, he probably could have gotten in and out.
Well, he was maintained it. Marty, he was going to have to stop around lap 59 anyway to get fuel. He was no way in the world he's going to make it to the very end, but if they do call this race right now, hey, he's looking in pretty good shape right now. The drivers are telling us across the radios that it's just so hard to see. They have no visibility whatsoever. And as it's getting darker, the color looking out the windshield in the darkness is starting to blend together, and the vision is just going away at the moment.
And you can see how hard it is raining. We're getting some areas of standing water. Take a look at Ron Fellows. As you can see, his day is started 6th, was as low as 26th, and that was after he made his pit stop, which put him into this position. Now, if this race ends, he picks up his 4th career win. Oh no! Jacques Villeneuve with damage under the caution. I mean, this nose got punched in like it was at the Friday night fights that were here in town last night.
He just slid up underneath somebody. That's what happened. He didn't see somebody, and I thought that was a problem when he come on pit road. He couldn't see.
Oh no! The 20 car, Joey Logano, is into the wall. Wow. So now a great run for Logano. He was running in 4th, and that car is just a mess. And we're under caution. And I'm sure that NASCAR is going to start taking a look at this. Yeah, it is getting dark. It is very wet. And we're now having guys that have a lot of issues under caution. We'll check with NASCAR and all the other issues that are going on. And there goes Patrick on by. And stay with us. We'll try and sort this out. This is unreal. We've had more accidents under caution than we've had under green. Well, take a look as the 5 car has been told. In fact, they got the word before we got the word. So congratulations are going to go to Ron Fellows and the number 5 team as he picks up his 4th career Nationwide Series win, the other 3 at Watkins Glen. We'll talk to him right here at Circuit Gilles Villeneuve when we return in a very soggy but a very happy day for Ron Fellows. Stay with us. Take a look at the unofficial results across the top of your screen, and now we'll go into our temporary victory lane with Mike Massaro.
And Ron Fellows just getting his composure right now, gathering his thoughts. He's a winner again in the Nationwide Series for the 4th time. You can see the emotion on his face. This is a track where he has wanted to win his entire career. Gilles Villeneuve was his hero. He's finally won here. Fellows climbing from the car right now, and what a wild day. How would you describe it?
That is difficult. I mean, it's, we've had a little bit of that in over in France with the Corvette in Le Mans, but first, Dale Jr., thank you, GoDaddy.com, Chevrolet, and the fans here. They stuck it out the whole time. That's just amazing. These guys are great. This was good fun. Now I got to try to beg Dale Jr. to let me run next week.
Yeah, and were you a part of the race in Montreal in 2007?
I'm not sure. I was in 2 of them. One was that rained out and shut down during the rain, and the other, I think, what's his name? The Canadian driver one. The guy's name offhand. And then the other one was before that, like I think the year or 2 before, but I can't remember.
Yeah.
So I don't remember what years. It might have been one of those years. I just don't know for sure.
Yeah, and first of all, the guy that you're referring to is Ron Fellows.
Ron Fellows, thank you. Correct. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. That was in 2008. I do know that Ron won that one in 2008.
Yes,
and
yes.
The one I was referring to was the year before, where there was the controversial finish between Robbie Gordon and Marcus Ambrose.
Vince, I'm here with Robbie Gordon. Got out of his race car, hopped on the roof, saluted the fans. Very rough racing there at the end. Robbie, what happened?
Well, if you want to know my opinion, I won the race. So I completed all the laps. And if you've seen this happen before, guys get spun when they slow down. That's exactly what happened with Marcus. He spun when I slowed down, and they tell me I'm going to go back to 17th. It's not the way it is. It's happened many times. They set precedents before, and we'll appeal it. We won this race.
You chose not to go do the black flag and stay out on the racetrack.
I went back to the position after I was spun, like it's happened many times before, okay?
Thank you, Robbie. Guys?
Let's hear from him. We do have Marcus Ambrose. We only have a minute here, Marcos. Your emotions, your thoughts, what happened? You knew that there was going to be an attack from Robbie Gordon in the 50s.
Yeah, I'm devastated. I promised myself when I came to NASCAR that I've been given such a chance that even if I have the worst day, I'm not going to be mad. And I'm not mad, I'm just disappointed. I feel bad for Kingsford Ford, my team. It's just this close.
An amazing attitude for a guy who's had the heartbreak of the day.
Oh, yes, I was in that one. So I was 2 years in a row there, yeah.
What was your reaction to the controversy at the end?
Not much. I was more worried about what I was doing, what we were up to, and, our issues. But, I thought Ambrose was the best road course driver probably I've ever seen. So that's my opinion.
Yeah, that's a good opinion, and I would have to agree with that because when I first started out in the sport, it was around that time, and Ambrose was winning all of those races at Watkins Glen.
Yeah.
And it kind of got to the point where I was saying, well, I know who's winning this one whenever the Glen came up. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he was excellent. He was an excellent driver, unbelievable on road courses, really good with high-powered road course cars.
Yeah, and Robbie Gordon was a pretty good road racer too, but
he was excellent too, but he was number 2 or 3, not number 1.
Yeah, and to be honest, Robbie kind of had some personal issues that might have gotten in the way of some things.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And he had a lot of, he's a good driver, did his stuff, worked his way, but, he had a lot of, his dad was in it, he had a lot of support, and kind of had, I wouldn't say an easy path, but he didn't have what Ambrose had to go through. And Ambrose is definitely, more talented, even though Robbie's right there. If Ambrose wasn't around, I would be looking at Robbie. But Ambrose, if it was those two, I'm picking Ambrose.
I'm with you on that, yep. So, yeah, what was racing in Mexico City like?
Wonderful, loved it. The NASCAR, Mexico and Japan, unbelievable support by NASCAR. They shipped you in, they put you on buses, they put you in hotels, they shipped you to the track. Everything was just all catered very nicely. And then the track, I love both tracks. Mexico, the people are wonderful. You've never been to the place before. We even got to go on a tour to one of the ruins. I was still one memory. Most of the best memory was, good and bad, was in the first race where we qualified really well. And then I got out of the car for one of the Mexican drivers to drive in the race. I was, paid I basically was paid a whole bunch of money to drive 3 laps to qualify the car. And I kind of was bummed I didn't get a race, but I didn't know if the car was even going to make it because we were really having overheating problems. But I loved the track and loved all the people there. It was just really a wonderful time. I couldn't have great memories. So anyway, during one of the practice events, I slammed into one of the drivers that I thought was going off the track, and he came back on. So we had a little incident, and Jimmy Means was not happy. He was yelling in my face probably for about 10 to 15 minutes straight, which he had the right to. And he was ready to load the car up. And I said, no, we're okay. The car, we'll get it fixed, and it's a good car. Just let me go ahead. And we never got to practice again. And that was my only 3 laps, was a lap and a half in practice and a lap in qualifying. And we ended up 19th or 20th, and I was on the pole at the time for a while even. And Jimmy, from that point on, I was his road course driver pretty much.
That makes a lot of sense. That makes a lot of sense, and yeah, pretty cool. So yeah, let me think. Did you ever drive for Joe Nemechek's team?
No, I know him, but I never did drive for him.
So Racing Reference might have made a mistake then, as far as saying
Yeah,
that.
or I got in a car maybe once or something. I don't even know it, and I didn't know it was his. You know, who knows?
Alrighty, I can probably do.
Sometimes I have to get in a car to qualify or something for somebody, and I'm like, I don't even know whose car it is, you know, but I just get in there and do it, and then find out later it's like, oh, that was owned by so-and-so, you know.
Okay, got it. What was driving in your home state like at Pikes Peak?
Oh, wonderful. That's one of another big accomplishment, because we were the first ones to race there in the stock cars or in any really major event. And then Michael Waltrip and Kenny Schrader were there. And then I ended up having a really good car, so I was able to pass them and go for the lead. And would have probably won the race, but we lost a cylinder, and I still ended up like sixth in that race. But car was good. We were having a great time, and the crowd was jam-packed. It was sold out, and I was pretty much the hometown hero after that for a good 5 years. I mean, I was, I was the driver in Colorado for a while right then.
Wow, that's freaking awesome. Yeah. So this is my last one on the list that I have. What's your favorite racing movie between Days of Thunder, Talladega Nights, or any other movie you can think of?
Oh, wow. There's Le Mans, Days of Thunder, Talladega Nights. Oh, man. I'd have to probably say, probably, sorry to not, this is something that you probably aren't ready for, but probably the 1966 Grand Prix is probably my favorite one.
Oh, I might need to look into that. That sounds
that
like
was
pretty
done.
cool.
That was the first ones that had in-car cameras. Jim Clark was actually and Graham Hill were in that movie, and Phil Hill was in that movie also. And I saw it when I was a kid at a big movie theater, and I remember hanging on to the handles of my chair because I've never seen something from inside a car like that in a movie theater. So they were the first ones. Now you look at it, and it's like kind of silly, but at the time it was revolutionary. And if you go to the modern ones, I'd have to say Days of Thunder.
Alrighty. Yeah. I might need to watch that Grand Prix film now that you brought it up.
It's a classic. A good acting, good. I mean, it's a good movie if you're not even into racing, let alone it has huge actors in it and everything. It was big time at the time. It was a huge hit for very rare at that point, and even after that, to have a good popular race movie besides Days of Thunder and then Talladega Nights. Before that, nobody really could do very much with movies with racing. People kind of lost interest, or they didn't have very good plot. But that one did, and sort of those Days of Thunder and Talladega Nights was a comedy more, but and kind of a farce, but it was very entertaining.
Yeah. One thing that I like about Days of Thunder is that the former owner of Cole, played by Randy Quaid, he helps him get back on the lead lap at the end of that race.
Yeah.
I always like that.
Yeah, that's cool, isn't it?
That kind of...
Yeah, I remember seeing that when we were at Laguna Seca racing, and that just came out, so we went to Monterey to watch that movie.
Pretty cool. And what I like about that is that it shows that even though Cole was fired by his owner still believed in his potential.
Yeah, that was excellent, because that's how it is in racing. They're like, yeah, we might not have had a good thing, but he's still a good driver, and I still think he can do it. I just love that stuff. That's a very good point. Probably one of the main points I saw in that movie, too.
Yeah, and that's what I like about it.
Yeah, you're a racer, all right? You're seeing the main things there.
Yep, for sure. And how wouldn't I know? Because I've been involved in the sport for almost a decade. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, you got it. You got the feel, I can tell.
Yeah. So to tell you a little bit about the project that I'm working on, it's an ebook documenting motor racing history, which means it's for Kindles and electronics. It's a book for those.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
And this interview will be used for it.
Great. Well, I'm very excited to see it, and thank you for interviewing me. And I'm sure it's going to be good because you know your stuff, you know what's going on out there. So good luck with it, and let me know when you get it going. We'll whatever we got to do, we'll get it read, bought, or whatever it takes. We'll list it on our sites here at Gaylord's too.
Thank you, and if possible, Do you think maybe one of these days when I'm back in state, you and I could meet up maybe?
You're always welcome, sure. We're here 5 days a week. You can give me a call anytime here at Gaylord on this number, and we can meet up anytime, have lunch, do whatever you want. Come on by. We have our own race team going on here still. So.
Alrighty, cool. I'll keep that in mind for when I'm back in state.
All right, you're always welcome.
Thanks, Scott.
All right.
Have a good day.
You too. Thanks. Bye.
Bye. Alrighty, that turned out very well. I like it. I enjoyed Scott. Cool.